Hey guys, this is Allison from Allykatkreations. How are you? If you can please like, share, and subscribe to my channel, that'd be super amazing. And if you get anything from my work, a light bulb moment, a connect the dot, an epiphany, a new author to read, or a new book to explore, please consider supporting my work. All the links will be at the bottom. And I thank everybody who has contributed to my Keeping Me Alive fund. I'm very blessed to have very many souls who help continuously on major scales, and it's very great. I'm in such gratitude, and I pray for you guys all the time in my prayers, and I really do thank you. It means a lot to me. I think this work is very important. I'm going to cover just one story today, and the reason being, it's very important, and it ties in with a lot of the books I have read already. The Hermit's Journey. The Master of the Blue Cape. It's a short story by ManlyP.Hall. I have a lot of notes on this, and there's a lot to talk about. We started off with the cave allegory. We then ventured into the woods, the forest, the cave, another cave, but more like a hut, hermit kind of hut. And then we were taken into a city where somebody still felt very isolated and alone and made creations that were divinely inspired and touched. And now we are going to go back again to a cave. The Master of the Blue Cape. This journey through the Hermit's story finds an alchemist seeking the Elixir of Life. He looked at the mysteries of science and, of course, nature, also to find the Philosopher's stone in question. So this alchemist wouldn't have distraction. He withdrew from the world and found the cave and built a laboratory with books from his library. Very rare old books, not too many people had. And then back then, right? He also brought all his chemist tools in attempts through the years to find panacea, the Balm of Gilead, written in the books of the old. 40 years he wrote his truths, mixing elements from nature, journaling them down. It's very important. No matter what you do in your life, write those moments down. You never know when those will be discovered again, or even by yourself. Though what he sought after, the elixir of life and the philosopher's stone, it all eluded him. Quote, one day, as he sat in his laboratory, dejected and disconsolate, there flashed across his mind an entirely new thought. End quote. How many of us, after all else fails, gets a spark of newness streaming across our consciousness? I'm still waiting on mine, but when we go through our lives and we have trials and tribulations and we thought everything out, right? And then you get sideswiped. Life just didn't end up the way you planned it, right? You go through this life of learning, growing, and shifting, and sometimes you don't have the answers. Sometimes you have to seek your higher source, your higher self. You have to go outside of yourself, but really to go back in. And when you're asking of high, sometimes you get something that comes across your path, whether it be a remembering of something of an old past or of an old past life, or you get something completely new out of nowhere. It just, you pluck it from the ether and it sits in. Many of us have had those in smaller ways. Some of the greatest minds in this world, that's how a lot of people get their information, their inventions. They're grabbing up from the collective consciousness ideas, making it their own, and really reimagining what that original thought was, what that spark of life gave them. This is where we are now in our new paradigm. We're in a new consciousness, the truth consciousness, and now it's what is your truth? We want to know the totality of what truth is. We're not going to get it in this lifetime. We're going to get a lot of things unraveled for us. We're going to start remembering what our truths are. But buckle up. It's going to get a little stormy. That's why I'm reading this. The epiphany he had, quote, could it be that he was not searching where the light was, end quote. When you look into the darkness, there's not much there. You can't see with your physical eyes. But sometimes you can't see either. When you look straight into the light, you get burned. But things do get better and uncovered in the light. That all those who wrote down what he read was all false. The secrets they claimed were falsehoods. He was getting upset. He took all his books, read them, went through them, studied them. He's like, what are they? What the fuck is this shit? You telling me you did this and I do it and I don't get a result the way you got it? What am I not doing right? Toiling for 40 years. There's no results. Now think about, insert yourself into this paradigm. How many books have you read as a child? Textbooks, particularly about history, science. Science is always ever evolving, right? They're finding things in physics and mathematics, sacred geometry. It's always been there, but it hasn't really been uncovered, and people just keep adding onto it in more layers and layers. But science evolves. New materials and new things keep coming out. So it's acceptable to have an old textbook with old ideas in sciencey terms, but when it comes to history, it's a dead and done deal, right? But in this paradigm that we live in, we were lied to about our history, just like 1984. It was rewritten for us. Each one of our countries, each one of the events that steered war, were all under false pretenses. You don't think so? It's going to come out slowly. America has no idea how horrible of an enemy we are to the rest of the world without us Americans even knowing about it. Other countries got involved in our affairs, have infiltrated us since the founding fathers. They've always had their little claws inserted into our life, and our founders tried to have given us freedom, but it was taken away from us once again. When you understand where your money actually goes that you really work hard for, you're gonna get really angry. But there's always hope. There's always hope. Because you're this alchemist. You're the man in the cave. You're the man and woman in the cave. Chained. Seeing the illusions casted by the shadows. Your consciousness just, you get the spark. Like, wait a, I'm gonna walk out now and see what this illusion looks like. And then you ascend out of the cave and you start seeing things and you start seeing reality for really what it is. You're still seeing reflections, you're still seeing, and all of a sudden you start seeing the light and you start seeing reality for what it is. But the people that are still back in that cave don't believe you because they're not awoke. They didn't have the conscious spark. They didn't have the spark of oneness, newness that came into their consciousness. But you did. You did. And then we go through going into the forest because we're shunned. We have this information, we have a lot of these truths, and yes, there's a lot of infiltration in the truth. Who's telling you what? Right? But you got to discover that for your own self, and you have to discern for your own self, right? We all get awoken from somebody said something, and it puts a new imprint into your mind. And then you go discovering and exploring, and you try to find more like-minded people. So we then find ourselves in this forest because people can't handle it. They can't handle the truth just yet. You see reality, but you get shunned out of society. And then you learn to be in ground in nature. And there's like that one person that kind of is trying to do the bad thing, but you kind of steer them in the right direction. They leave for a little bit and they come back and they take over where you left off. And this is going to get, in this story, it's going to get to that. But then in the instant that you're home and you're in isolation, you're making creations, you're putting your soul and your life into these things. And they become more than just creations, they become divine. You found the guard spark within you. You found the creativity that they've been trying to hold back. And thus spoke Zarathustra, trying to make sense out of a lot of things, trying to speak the wisdom, trying to move around crowds, trying to beep, 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 boop, 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 boop. Trying to just enlighten. Many of us have been there. We're walking this journey. There are some people and there's some, it's a ping pong match. It's a ping pong match. But this alchemist is discovering that what he read was falsehoods. In this depleted state, he bowed his head to pray, asking those alchemists upstairs, they're all gone, to guide him, to show him what will work. This is where the paradigm shifts. When you pray, you're praying from inside yourself and projecting it out with your light intention, right? You're not being selfish by asking God, asking creator source, infinite intelligence, the monad, the energy, the all, whatever you want to call it. Using your pineal gland. An alchemist, what I would consider a mystic, an ascended master, came into his cave with an indigo blue cape and spoke. The mystic said, all the secrets of alchemy are concealed within the folds of the cape. All the hard toiling with much lessons gained, but nothing sought after. The mystic, quote, each time a soul is found in the world of men who will take upon itself the sorrows of the world, who labors that others may have more light, who learns the things worthwhile and becomes strong enough to carry the burdens of humanity. When such a one is found, the master takes his own mantle and places it upon the shoulders of the disciple. End quote. So he prayed, the alchemist, older, failed, not necessarily failed, but didn't get the results he wanted, right? And a lot of us in our lives haven't got there yet either. And we pray, and then something divine spark, divine intervention comes across our paths. This alchemist happened to have a mystic come in his mists, wearing a blue cape. And it's only worthy to the people who are giving their service to humanity, taking the sorrows so that others can have light. How many of us have taken on sorrows of others? Watching people make their mistakes, knowing what our truth is. As we sit in this world and we, what? You know, today, New York City, one of the judges, oh no, they took my job away illegally. They knew it took a year to tell everybody that they're going to give everybody their jobs back with back pay. Even Morgan shocked, right, co-host? But too much too late. I couldn't survive alone by myself. A year without having income, a job. And I don't know what they're going to do with my particular sector of jobs, because you're not allowed to walk in a building without a vaccine as a worker. So we'll see how that goes. Holding my breath. But I knew something beyond being allergic. I knew something was off. And many of us know a lot of other things are off, right? We have these truths. We have these things that we're standing in our freedom and our liberty to dispel and discern and to give out, and it's stopped because they don't want the truth out. But when you sacrifice yourself and the cause to humanity, a wise old soul comes. And many of us have been adorned this cape as well. Once the master, the mystic, imparts his knowing, his teachings, his wisdom onto this alchemist, the ascension of the master occurs. He moves up to greater lessons and tasks, and so are we. As we traverse the social economical scale, we're also in a spiritual ascension path. And we are moving up in consciousness. We're learning. We're discerning. Our consciousness are upgrading. We're expanding our thinking. Well, a lot of us haven't done that before. I've always been that way. But many people are why am I thinking so differently? I don't know. I feel weird. I'm seeing things for what they are now. I'm seeing past the narrative. I'm seeing past the lies. This is why the story is so profound. Because we're going through this alchemist journey. The old alchemist connects all the mystic told him. The mystic is sitting there and talking with the alchemist, giving him his wisdom. And with light and joy, found the answer he sought. The answer was within him all along. The mystic had to guide him to it. Everybody tells you to go within. What are you talking about, go within? What do you mean by that, go within? Sometimes people need to be guided. Sometimes your mind is in the way and you don't know how to close your thinking down to go into the silence and just be still. And I have problems still doing that, right? A lot of us have problems doing that to this day. I get it every once in a while. But the Philosopher's Stone, the light radiating from within the soul, the elixir of life, the living water, the balm of Gilead, the wounded heart. Quote, the kindly action, the soft touch, the smile in the moments of sorrow. These make up the elixir of life. To your brother man, the Philosopher's Stone shines in repleasant glory for the one who has lived life and learned to know the doctrine. While the balm of Gilead is in truth the loving word in the moment of sorrow, the selfless compassion in the hour of need. Mic drop moment. Well, people are thinking these are tangible things, tangible objects. I mean, could ManlyP.Hall just be giving you an allegory and there really is a Philosopher's Stone? Could be, right? Philosopher's Stone could be many things. But what he's pointing out is it's all within. With a renewed sense of the spark of life in him. Quote, I see that place is in the world. I'm going back to tell all the truths that you have unveiled to me. I will go out to live the Philosopher's Stone of the Elixir of Life and the Balm of Gilead. I will give all mankind, rich and poor, young and old, of whatever caste, whatever creed, They shall see the light I found. They shall also know how I have found it. The gods have been gracious, and I have given me the treasures I sought, and now I dedicate them to the service to men. End quote. Where are we now in society? What are many of us doing? Small, but what are we doing? We're seeding truth where we see it. We're speaking our own truths to the world. Many of us are doing that. Many of us are doing it in different ways. However you self-express, you're doing it. You're walking in your authenticity. You're speaking your truth more openly and more valiantly than you most have ever done before. The world's so divided right now. And like I said with the Amish mindset, this is very Amish mindset. And again, subtract the Amish religion and the non-tech, insert it takes a village. It takes more than one person. It takes everybody to stand up and to help each other out do one task, right? It takes a community so no one falls or fails. And he's seeing this. And he's going to give his truth. It doesn't matter who you are. You could be the billionaire. You could be the poor person on the corner. He's going to impart his truth onto you. And many of us are doing the same thing. We're imparting what we saw in that cave, the illusions, the puppet master behind the curtain. We're seeing reality for what it is. We had to kind of push back into nature, ground our energy, ground ourselves, connect with unconditional love from our pets, nature, animals, learn how that natural kingdom works, find the divine spark within you to create, to do what you want to do within yourself that makes you happy. Doesn't need to make money. It's not about that. Energy is money. You're finding what you are inside and you're giving it life. You're giving it divinity. And then you start going back in society. It's like, and you're trying to impart those good words onto people. Zarathustra keeps like, I'm just telling you the truth. My opinion. And then we have the Alchemist. Imparting the fact that you are the Philosopher's Stone. You already have the Elixir of Life within you. All the answers are there. And you're going to impart this truth to the world without bias. You're going to hand out that truth in hopes that you could see it more and more. A lot of people still don't accept it, but more people are being awoken because more people are starting to listen to the sages, to the hermits. This is the journey that we're on. The mystic told him to rest. The next quest in giving this treasure is a long journey. The cape was draped over the old alchemist as he slept. And as the mystic left and exited the cave, a new cape is adorned on the mystic. A little lighter, telling God he is ready for the greater work. The cape of the living souls of men. The alchemist awoke with discernment, no garment of blue, but his soul and the investment in it, in the indigo cape of compassion, which forever enfolds the sorrows of the world, and his wisdom gained to change it. So here we have the cape. In the folds are all the souls that the mystic touched throughout its journey, throughout its going into society, being called down. That's his job. Chose that job from God. And as now he's going to ascend another level, many of us going up, ascending, right? We're going to shed our cape. We're going to shed our knowledge, our wisdom, and impart it on someone else. And we're going to ask, well, what else now, God? Infinite creator source, whatever you resonate with. I'm in service to you. I'm in service to humanity. I'm in service to others. Now, what else can I impart in this world? And you get a new cape. And within that cape is new lessons and new wisdom to sow into a new generation of people who are stuck, who need to be called upon. Any one of us has the power to call upon an archangel, an ascended master. It's just being patient and waiting for the signs and knowing when it comes. They're patient. Our time is not the same as upstairs. And it's hard for us sometimes to recollect that. I know it is for me. I don't want to be here anymore in New York. I want to be moved. It's getting cold. That's not easy moving in winter. Not what I planned. But I have to go with God and I have to go with the universe. And whatever my task is to impart on this world, that is what it's going to be. What is your mission? What are you going to impart on humanity? How are you going to help humanity? We all have different skills. We all have different tasks and we all have different missions. But combining them together, alchemizing, transmuting. The alchemist couldn't transmute what we thought was the elixir of life. He was lied to, given false information. He prayed. And he got his answer from a higher source. And I think a lot of us need to do a lot of that work. And again, it doesn't matter. It's energy. If you're thinking negative thoughts, well, maybe try alchemically transmuting your thoughts, changing your mindset. We talked about that in the Kybalion. Resetting your mind, training your mind to catch where it's like, oh no, I asked myself not to think that way. Well, now why am I thinking it? Right? It's changing your life. It's understanding what you are inside, the power that you are. We all are very powerful. We just haven't figured out how to use those powers yet. Some of us have a hint. That's for a special little demonic handler that I'm dealing with. I'm sending you love and light and help you make your changes and ways. speaking my truth. So what are you going to do when you're out of the cave? You grounded your energy. You're learning compassion and unconditional love. My oracle readings today spoke all about that with the animals and love, self-love. A lot of people don't love themselves. A lot of people don't look in the mirror and self-express. You know, there are a lot of women who are gorgeous naturally without makeup, but sometimes they want to put the eyeliner on and people judge them like, oh, what are you, slut? Right? Just don't listen to these jackoffs. Right? Do you. Be proud of who you are. You're an expression of God. You're experiencing this world because God created the world, God created you in it, and God's experiencing through you this life and learning from every one of us. That's a lot, right? But take that into consideration. When you're walking out into this world as the hermit, you're studied, you got isolated and sat back and you started learning and listening to the truth, and you started formulating your own discernment, your own knowing. You connected dots, you started spreading the word, and then you got kind of like, sorry, you can't tell your truth here. It's not allowed. So you became ingenious and you figured out new ways and new devices to get your truth out. The alchemist read the books, wasn't right. What did he do? He prayed. He used another modality to get his truth out. He had to get a cape. He got initiated. He graduated. And now he takes the master's role and the master takes the higher master role. It's not who's above another. We're all in human form. We're all equal. We all bring something to the table. We all have amazing abilities, and in combination with each other together, no ego involved. We could be a force to be reckoned with, but we need to learn how to play with others. We need to learn how to be listeners and leaders in our own right. And it's not easy when you're isolated. It's not easy when you're not around too many people. But we're going to develop these skills. And when we go back into Thus Spoke Zarathustra, there'll be many more examples of that ping pong energy that we're feeling right now, where it's like a tug of war, right? And it's going to happen because you're going to encounter different people in your life, no matter what race, creed, caste, doesn't matter. Some will take to you and some will not, but you're not for everybody. I know I'm not for everybody. It's just what it is, right? But I hope the person that listens to me, who gets something from me and gets the understanding and the learning, imparts that on somebody. It's not my message, right? At the end of the day, it's God's message. Upstairs. They're just using me in a good way. So what are you going to do with the cape that you just got? How are you going to impart your wisdom onto the world? We're still in hermitdom. Many of us still are. But slowly there are people trickling in. Slowly you're finding those like-minded people that are starting to like hone in on you. And those are going to be your tribe. That's going to be the people you're going to be working with. And if you haven't found them yet, they're in every country. They're in different places around the world. Just start expanding your horizons out. Join some groups. Online groups are great, and the freer the better, right? I don't knock people that do Patreon. I don't knock people that, some things are behind a paywall for a reason. They got everything taken away from them because, I posted something about the void of space from an article the other day, and it was bad information. How? Community standards talking about a void. Hmm? Or is there truth to it and you took it because I already know about the void. So we really have to be consciously aware, though, also that we still want our platforms. So we have to minimize things. But if you see things in a specific way to get somebody's curiosity to peak, they're going to go search for their own. And that's how it should be. You don't want to give everybody all the answers. That's not how you learn. You guide. You can stand somebody up on their 2 feet, but they have to start walking. You can't force them to walk. But it's in the manner and the gentleness and the compassion that you give to somebody and the encouragement to do so that makes all the difference. If you put somebody on their 2 feet, give them wisdom and guide them a little bit, encourage them, check up on them. Life gets busy and life gets annoying. I know. When I was packing up this house and people were coming in, I couldn't do much of anything. I don't want anybody reading my emails while they're walking through my house. Life gets in the way sometimes, but keep consistent and you're going to find your tribe. And we're going to unfold how to deal with people. I know some of us are introverts. I'm an extrovert introvert, by the way. I absorb too much energy, but that's a good thing because what I absorb, I transmute. But, I don't want to give all my secrets away. Evil little parasites might watch. I see you. And I hope those entities find it in their hearts to change and to understand they had a role to play and they can still change their role and they can come over and be of love and light and they can do for humanity, impart the truth and wisdom on humanity. You might be spared. And again, I'm not somebody that ever read the Bible or any real spiritual book. I don't need to. We all know inside when you do something wrong, you feel guilty. And if you don't have that guilt feeling, you're a service to yourself. Still very important to listen because you're going to be giving lots of lessons to people. But you can always transmute it. You can null and void your contract because you're always rewriting it. Your timelines always change. We just have to figure out how to steer the vehicle in the meantime. And that's what I'm trying to do with this Hermit's Journey. We're all in a big bus together and we're trying to figure out how to expand. So I really hope you enjoyed this little short story of the Master of the Blue Cape. I think it's one of the most pivotal points going within. Knowing that it's within you, and when you ask for it with sincerity and projecting it out in such a beautiful way, the alchemist got his answers. And he's now going to impart his wisdom on the world. And now it's our turn to take that indigo blue cape and wear it and embrace it and honor it and impart our seeds of truth to the world, our creative sparks, our divine essence into the world. And then next time we'll figure out how we maneuver around that. That's why I'm breaking this up. But I hope you guys enjoyed. It's very important that we get through this all together. And we're never alone. They're always here. And I know in the physical, it sucks sometimes. You know, just want sometimes a hug. Don't get those too often. But when I get them, they count. I make them count. I get hugs from my kitties every day. But that's not the same. So don't feel that alone. Things are going to end very soon. And then we have a lot of work to do. So as this alchemist, the master told the alchemist, take some rest. You're going to need it. This is our time to kind of take a rest. Wink, wink, nod, nod. Get ready. The next few months are going to be wild. Sending each and every one of you love and light. I'm praying for all of you. Keep praying, shielding, sending love, Amish mindset, abundance. What are you abundant in that you can help uplift and help somebody today on an everyday basis? Make it a habit. Whether it be liking somebody that you never saw before, their video, sharing and reposting something you saw online that is super profound, sharing new wisdom with people, joining a group, contributing to a group. What can you do today to help somebody out? What are you abundant in? Try to see what other people need. And if you have it, strangers, do something good. We all need that right now. Thank you, guys. Please be safe, be seen. Know your surroundings. And let's change the world.